Srimad Bhagwatam, Skanda 2, volume 2, canto 2, chapter 9, sloka 42 onwards. So here it has been said, when sage Narad observed that Lord Brahma is pleased with me, that time, O King Parikshit, he questioned Lord Brahma with the same questions that you are asking me now. Who is going to explain this? Easy one. Yes, me. That me is absent today.
So today this means that.
Come on, say.
Yes, ma'am. So in this look, it has been told that time when yes, ma'am. So in this look, it has been told that since Lord Brahma was pleased with Naradji a lot, uh, King Parikshit questioned Brahmaji that you asked me this. You asked Naradji the same question which you have asked me.
Narad ji have asked Brahma ji the same way the king Parikshit is asking to
Brahmaji.
Nahi, King
Second,
Parikshit.
Naradji. Wait.
King Parikshit is talking with whom?
Brahmaji.
Sutaji.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Yeah.
सुखदेव जी.
Oh.
सूत जी कहाँ से आए? सूत जी और सौनका जी are talking. Sukdev ji and Parikshit is
King
talking.
Parikshit is talking.
And Brahma ji and Narad ji are
And
talking.
Naradji. So, ma'am, the categories are Sutji and Sukhdevji. Wait. Sanakaji. Sukhdevji and King
King
Parikshit.
Parikshit.
Brahmaji and Naradji.
Very good. ठीक है? Always remember that. It's okay. Okay, next one. Good one, Tapasya. Good try. Lord Brahma was more pleased by hearing the questions. He then narrated this 10-volume Bhagwatam that was told to Lord Brahma by the Supreme Lord himself. This is Shloka 43. Kritika?
Can I?
Yeah.
So in this shloka, it's being said that Lord Brahma was pleased with Narada's question. So then he narrated the next 10 cantos of the Bhagavatam.
Very good, very good. Now Shloka 44. O Parikshit, why my father, Lord Vyasdev, was meditating on the banks of river Saraswati, sage Narad instructed him with the same Bhagavatam. Understood? Okay, Dhriti is explaining.
In this shloka, it has been told that so when Vedvyas ji, the father of Sukdev ji, he was meditating on the banks of the river Saraswati, the same Bhagavatam Narad ji told him.
The last chant, last meaning, Shloka 45. So I shall answer all your questions in the same way of the Srimad Bhagwatam. So who is saying to whom?
Sukdevji to King Parikshit.
Thank you so much. Sukdev ji saying to King Parikshit that I will answer all your questions the same way it is written in Srimad Bhagwatam. Okay, who is explaining? Aishwarya? Aishwarya is there?
Yeah.
Can you explain?
Yes, I will explain.
Explain.
Yes, I will explain the next one.
अच्छा ठीक है. Tapasya, will you
Yes.
explain this one?
Mom, I really haven't understood the shloka at all.
Kritika?
Ma'am, even I didn't.
Okay, so Dhriti is explaining.
So Sukdev ji is telling in the same way, he will also answer King Parikshit's questions the same way it is written in the Bhagavatam.
Thank you.
Oh, like that.
Yeah, so thus ends the ninth discourse in book 2
Mom, we
of...
have one more shloka, right?
No.
Uh,
Thus ends the ninth discourse in Book 2 of the great and glorious Bhagavad Puran, otherwise known as Paramahamsa Samhita.
Samhita.
Now, chapter 10. Chapter 10, the topic is the primary 10 characteristics of Bhagwanji. So, who is Bhagwanji?
Lord
Shri
Shri Krishna.
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 Thank you.
Mom,
Thank you.
so is it Sujji and Sukhdevji? Or Sukhdevji?
Ma'am, can you repeat what you just said?
Uh, Chapter 10 topic is the primary 10 characteristics of Bhagwanji.
Okay.
So here Sukhdevji Maharaj has started and he is saying, Parikshit, the Bhagavad Puran discusses about 10 subjects. These subjects are, so this is the very lengthy one, everybody listen carefully. Aishwarya, please mute. So these subjects are Sarga, meaning primary creation, Visarga, meaning secondary creation, Sthan, meaning planetary position and the positioning of the living entities, Poshan, meaning protection and nourishment, Uti, meaning inclination or spark to do some activity, Manvantras, and seventh is Ishanukta, meaning the glories and stories of the Supreme Lord. Eighth one is Nirodh, the dissolution of the creation. Mukti means liberation. Ashraya, shelter of the Supreme Lord. So Bhagavatam is based on these 10 topics. है ना? So this is the 10 subjects for Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is based on these 10 subjects. So here this been said by Sukhdevji to King Parikshit. So is it clear? I think you can read from the book and tell. Read this telling.
This shloka, Sri Sukhdevji Maharaj has said to Parikshit that the Lord Shri Krishna has 10
Characteristics.
10 characteristics. The 10 characteristics are subjects are Sarga, meaning the primary creation, Visarga, meaning the second primary creation, then Sthan, meaning the
Planetary.
planet, planetary positions. 4 is Poshan, 5th is Utti, 6th is
Manmantra.
Manvantra, 7th is Ishanukata, 8th is Nirodh, 9th is Mukti, 10th is Ashraya.
Ashraya. Very good. So these are the 10 subjects of Bhagavad Puran. So this is Shloka 1 of chapter 10. Now Shloka 2. Among this, the 10th subject is the most important and to understand this subject. Learning of the other 3 subjects is very important. The detailed explanation of the 9th subject is only available in Srimad Bhagwatam and no other scriptures. I think Aishwarya, your turn.
Mom, got it?
Okay.
So, mom, in this book, it has been told that only the 9 subjects can be like it's fully detailed told in Srimad Bhagwatam, and it has been not told in any other scriptures.
Very good then.
Mom, then I forgot.
10th subject is most important to understand this complete subject.
Okay.
And other 9 subjects are also very important. Okay?
Okay.
Only this thing you missed. Good. Now Shloka 3. Aishwarya, you're there?
Yeah.
Listen. Shloka 3. Oh, you got very easy one, Aishwarya. The primary
Yeah,
creation
ma'am.
is The primary creation is nothing but the creation of the 5 gross elements. So what are the 5 gross elements?
Land, fire,
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah,
Fire, water, land, air, and sky.
very good. Good. So, and the 5 senses? Yes.
Yes.
Smell, taste,
Five sense.
sight,
Ma'am,
and then your sound.
ma'am, sound, form, taste, smell, and touch.
Very good. The sense feelings, that is
Ma'am,
sound, form, taste,
eyes.
smell.
Ma'am, then in which category does eyes, ears, nose, tongue,
5
skin
senses.
come?
5 senses.
Okay.
है ना? These are known as sarga. So all these 5 gross elements and the 5 senses are known as and mind also are called sarga. The various creations that are created by Lord Brahmaji, who is a creation of the Supreme Lord himself. So all these were created by Lord Brahma, and who himself is being created by the Supreme Lord. Able to understand? Who is the creation of the Supreme Lord himself. So he
So is it like Brahmaji creates us, but Lord Sri Krishna is the one who creates the celestial gods, the demigods?
correct.
Okay.
Aishwarya, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. So in this book, I've been explained the 5 characteristics, right? And then there are 5 senses, which is smell, touch, taste, and and then there are the 5 characteristics of earth. No, sorry, of the body, which is earth, the soil, then the air, water, fire, and what was the last one?
Water, fire, and these
Water,
are
fire, earth.
and mind as well.
Oh, okay. And mind as well then.
Mind is for senses.
Yes,
So,
and this is what told in this book.
uh, so all these were created by Lord Brahmaji, and who is the creation of Supreme Lord himself, and is known as secondary creation, that is Visarga. Okay, so we did Sarga and Visarga. Now Shloka 4. The positioning of the different lokas and the placement of the living beings as per their nature and action is called the sthan. So what is sthan? Positioning of the planets and positioning of the living beings. So living beings are positioned according to their nature. The support and protection provided by the Supreme Lord to each and every living entity of the universe is known as Poshan. So, Poshan is that Sri Krishna ji is supporting each and every living being. Supporting in the sense taking care, protection, है ना? Like whenever we need help, to whom we approach? We approach to Supreme Lord. So why do we approach? Because we know He will take care of us. So that is called Poshan. Sthan Poshan. Then the Manus, who are the rulers of a particular Manvantra and who are equivalent to Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, because they create and sustain the living beings with righteousness, is known as Manavantra. Okay? Now third one is Manavantra, and it is for the Manus who are equal to Lord Vishnu, who are equal to Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahmaji. Why they are equal? Because they are creating and sustaining living beings with righteousness. It is not for their selfishness, it is for the betterment. It is like a command of Supreme Lord and they are following it. So it is known as Manavantra. The desires of the human beings due to which they perform their actions is known as Uti. So here four topics have been covered. The desires through which the human beings do some actions, it is called Uti. Okay, who is going to explain?
Ma'am, shall I try?
Yeah, Kritika, please.
Ma'am, so in this one, in the shloka, Sthan is explained as the placement of the demigods and human beings and all other uh, stuff around the universe by the Supreme Lord. Um, then Poshna is referred to as how the Supreme Lord has blessed the devotees and how he cares for them. Then Ma'am, is that the fourth one?
Yeah, third one.
Third
Manvantra.
one. Manvantra is being explained as the time periods in which each Manu is basically responsible for the actions, and the Manvantra is the duration at which the universe is created, and each Manu presides over the universe at that time. And Uttis is the desires of the humans and all the living creatures.
Very good, awesome, Kritika. Very
Thank
nice. Thank you so much. Now, Shloka 5.
Can I explain this one?
Sure. The stories and glories of the Supreme Lord and their devotee is nothing but the Ishanu Katha. So, Ishanu Katha is where the devotions lie, where the devotion is there, stories and glories of Supreme Lord is there, and the devotees are there. That is called Ishanu Katha.
Okay, so now in this shloka it has been told that Ishanu Katha means that place where the devotees live, the devotion, the glories of the Supreme Lord, and stories of Supreme Lord.
Very good. Now, Shloka 6. When the Supreme Lord goes into meditation and takes into him all the individual souls, causing the dissolution of the universe, is known as Nirodh. So, Nirodh is when Supreme Lord goes into meditation and takes into inside him all the individual soul for dissolution. Destruction नहीं use करते हैं. The renunciation of ignorant actions or non-equanimous actions, the renunciation from the fruits of action, and to unite oneself with the soul of the Supreme Lord is called Mukti. So what happens when a soul goes and unite with Supreme Lord? He gets moksha. That soul gets moksha or liberation or mukti or freedom from the cycle of life and death. Remember Bhagavad Gita?
Ma'am, can you explain the Nirodha one again?
Huh. So Nirodh is when Supreme Lord goes into meditation and takes into him all the individual souls, causing the dissolution of the universe. That is known as Nirodh.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now Dhriti is explaining.
In this shloka, it has been told that Nirodh is basically when the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna he goes into meditation and then he takes all the individual soul in him, causing the dissolution. That is Nirodh. And Mukti is basically liberation, which means when the ignorance, when people give up all the ignorance, they are righteous, they are not bothered about the results, so that is called mukti.
Very good. Thank you so much. Now Shloka 7. Parikshit. Who is saying Parikshit?
Sukhdevji.
Very good. Sukhdevji is saying Parikshit. The energy by which the creation and the dissolution of the universe takes place, the energy by which creation and dissolution of the universe takes place is of Supreme Personality of the God, and this Supreme Personality is known as Ashraya. So Ashraya is that when Supreme Lord's energy is creating and dissolving the universe. When this happens, it is Ashraya. He has been described as a supreme soul, that is Paramatma. In Hindi or Sanskrit or any regional language, we will say Paramatma. In English, it is supreme soul. So it has been described as Paramatma. Para means above everyone. Atma is soul, self. So above all the soul is Supreme Lord Soul. So that is, it is called Supreme Soul or Paramatma in all the spiritual literatures. So it can be any spiritual literature, not even just Bhagwatam or Bhagavad Gita. Any literature we will see Paramatma. It's very common term or the Supreme Soul. Fine. So this is Ashraya. Ashraya is the time when the energy of the Supreme Lord is creating and dissolving the universe, which is Ashraya and is also being described as Paramatma or the Supreme Soul. Okay, Reet is
In this shloka, Sukhdevji is saying to Parikshit that by the energy in which the universe is created and destroyed, that energy is called Ashraya, and Lord Shri Krishna is is a supreme soul, and we call it as Paramatma.
very good. Good, Reet. Now Shloka 8. Aishwarya, you are there? 8 and 9. You are there? Okay. It is 8 and 9 together, but I will split it half, okay?
Okay.
The living entity body is consisting of three elements. Listen carefully, everyone. The living body is consisting of three elements: gross, subtle, and presiding deity. Okay, gross, subtle, and presiding deity. These are known as adhibhautik, adhyatmik, and adhideivik. Are you able to understand?
Yes.
So gross is adhibhautik, subtle is adhyatmik, and third, the presiding deity is adhidevik. Each of this is dependent on each other for functioning properly. See, I am explaining very slowly so that you all understand and remember. If you are not understanding, ask me again. Okay? So, the living entity consists of three elements: gross, which is also called adhibhautik. Then subtle body, which is also called adhyatmik. Then third is presiding deity, which is also called adhideivik. Okay? And these three are dependent on each other for functioning properly. For example, if the eye is beautiful but the eyesight is bad, there is no use of the beautiful eyes. That means one has beautiful eyes but the eyesight, vision is very bad. So what is the use of the beautiful eyes when the eyes cannot see anything? Understood? Or if the eye itself is damaged, then even the eyesight cannot exist. If the eye is damaged, vision is poor, eyesight cannot exist. Or if the eyes are beautiful and the eyesight is good, but if the presiding god, which is sun god, creates darkness, there is no electricity, then the eyes cannot see anything. Complicated, right? So basically, it's been explained um, these three elements which is inside us. So how for this, it is the eye. They have taken the example of eye. That eye is beautiful, but eyesight is bad. One example. Then eye itself is damaged. How one will we see? Cannot be. And if eyes are beautiful and eyesight is good, but the presiding god is who? Presiding deity, that is Adhidevik. Adhidevik, which is the sun god, creates darkness. When sun god creates darkness, it is night. When it is a light night time and there is no electricity, so that beautiful eyes with the good sight cannot see anything. Understood now? Little bit.
Ma'am, very little bit.
Very little bit. Okay. I'll tell again. Then you will. Why you will the first time you didn't understood anything. Second time, little bit you understood. Third time you will understand better. So this is called repeated practice. So whenever you don't understand anything,
Ma'am,
Haji,
ma'am, I
Haji.
have to go somewhere, so I have to leave the call.
Okay. Bye. Enjoy.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'll explain this 8 and 9 together. So I was telling that, yeah, why first time it was very much complicated and second time it was little easy and third time it will be super easy? Because it is the repeated practice. So whenever you don't understand anything, don't give up. Study again, try to understand again. So that is called repeated practice. And practice makes man perfect. Right? Correct? You know? So remember. So this has come in chapter 12, Shloka 8.
Ma'am, Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita. So, left to meeting. I'll wait for her to come back. Yeah, so you're back?
Sorry, ma'am.
No problem. So the Sri Krishna ji is saying that all these three elements are dependent on each other. Gross, subtle and presiding deity. So gross is Adi Bhautik, subtle is Adhyatmik, presiding deity is Adi Devik. For that, Sri Krishna ji has told, now I only remember, good eyes, beautiful eyes, but the eyesight is poor, so we cannot see anything. Damaged eye, so eyesight is already gone. Beautiful eyes, but the good sight, the but what happened? But Adi Devik is missing. So Adi Devik is who?
Yes, ma'am.
Sun God.
Thank you.
Sun God is missing. So when Sun God is missing, there is darkness, there is no electricity. Then how the eyes will see? So these energies are also fully dependent on the soul. How?
Ma'am,
And
because soul makes everything function, ma'am.
nahin. Soul doesn't make everything function. Soul is sitting inside you, waiting for you to give him the moksha.
Ma'am, if we don't have a soul, then we will die, right, ma'am? So we need
Yeah.
life.
That is true. If the body doesn't have soul, the body will die. That is the truth. But soul don't do anything. Soul, what happens? Soul is carrying forward all his ledger into this body. है ना? The previous body, all the bodies in which soul was there in all the bodies, so all those were accounted. So everything has come now in this body. Are able to understand? Soul is carrying the ledger from one body to another body, and the body has to suffer according to the ledger carried by the soul. Okay, we'll come back to this sloka. Ledger. Acha, you do. Acha, account. Your report card. You never asked me what is ledger. Do you know what is ledger?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Acha, smart girl. So these energies are also fully dependent on the soul, and the soul is a fraction of the Supreme Soul. That is, what is Supreme Soul is also called as? Do you remember?
Lord Sri Krishna, because he has a supreme soul.
Huh? Just now I told that Supreme Soul is also called as Paramatma.
Yes, ma'am, I got that.
Therefore, it is clear that Supreme Lord is the ultimate shelter for all the living entities. So meanwhile, you all are getting a Bhagavad Gita revision as well. है ना? So, चलो कौन? Who will explain? Kritika will explain. Complicated one.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, it's kind of very complicated.
Why? It is not. See, it is very simple. Okay, Dhriti is
बस for example.
तो एग्जाम्पल से तो इजी है. मेरे को तो डट गया. ठीक है, ट्राई.
इसका नहीं होगा.
Come on, try.
Okay, so in this shloka it has been told that so the living body is made of three elements, which are gross, subtle, and the presiding deity. So they all the three are important for the survival. If one of them is also not there, we cannot live. And soul is responsible for them because he carries what was there in the previous janma, and the soul is a fraction of the Paramatma. So it is clear that Supreme Lord is the ultimate shelter for everyone.
Awesome, nice. See, it is very easy, Baba. Here in this sloka 8 and 9, it is being said that the body, है ना? Body has three elements. ठीक है? Is it clear? Three elements: gross, subtle, and presiding deity. I will not tell the other names. Those three names are complicated. So we will do now only this. The body has three elements, which is gross, subtle, and presiding deity. These three elements are important and they have to function together properly. Okay? These three elements are important for the body and they are dependent on each other. So when they are dependent on each other, they have to function together easily. If they are not functioning together properly, then some or the other flaws will be there. Is it clear? And we have a soul inside us, which is a fraction soul of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is also called as Paramatma. So basically, Paramatma is responsible for all the functioning of the living beings. ठीक है? Supreme Lord is the ultimate shelter for all the living beings. Is it clear now? Kritika? Tapasya?
Yes, please.
Please.
Okay, so in this shloka, it has been told that since Lord Shri Krishna has a supreme soul, therefore his soul will be called as Paramatma, because he is the one who creates the universe and sustains it and destroys it. But the thing is that when no, no, our soul is just a tinier version of of Lord Sri Krishna's soul, because we are not that much supreme as his.
Okay, good. See how it started. It started like down, living beings are there. In that living beings, there are three elements. That three elements are called gross, subtle, and residing deity. That three has to work together and they are dependent on each other. And upon that, there is a soul inside this. This soul is connected with the Supreme Lord soul. So, Supreme Lord is the ultimate shelter for all the living. It started from down to up. Understood? अभी तो समझ जाना चाहिए.
Okay.
ठीक है, we will end here. And tomorrow we will continue.